Hi everyone, so today I'm going to go through my menstrual cup stash and show you the cup Softest to Firmest. I'm going to start from the right side of the first row across to the left and then go from the left side of the back row across to the right. Some of these are kind of very close and because the cups are either slightly different size or slightly different shape, it's going to be hard to show you in a kind of squish comparison kind of why I came to the decision that I did, but like if you feel them in your hand you can kind of um, get a feel for the difference in the firmness. So in cases where it doesn't look quite as convincing from a squish test that they actually one is softer than the other, take my word for it that the ordering I have here kind of makes sense. So I'm gonna start with the Ruby Small. She's next to the Super Jennie Smalls. These two are the same cup, just different colors. So again, these are pretty different. This relatively the same shape, but different size cup. Also to note, the Ruby I would say is the same firmness all throughout, minus the kind of extra dense silicone down here in the base because of the grip rings. But the Super Jennie is very soft in the base, kind of medium firmness right under the rim, and then the rim is kind of soft and gummy. So I put the Ruby as a softer cup, mostly because I think with this size, it's just easier to handle. It's more pliable. So I'm going to try to do a comparison. I'm going to try to line the bases up here. And you can see the Ruby is softer than the Super Jennie. If I just do the rims, then the Super Jennie rim seems to be softer than the Ruby rim. Again, these are really close. I like both of these cups because they're soft cups. I lean towards the Ruby sometimes just because it is a smaller cup, but I would say if you like one, you would probably like the other. So consider them kind of almost a tie. So next we have, again, another Super Jennie. This is next to the EvaCup Small. This is an older version of the EvaCup. I don't think they sell it with this silicone anymore, but I think the firmness is relatively similar to the new version. Right here, it has some comparisons of the new silicone versus the old silicone, so you can take a look at that. These cups are similar in that they have, again, almost the same shape, and they have a kind of firmer secondary rim than the base. So I think these read almost identical if I remember correctly, but let's see. So I'm saying I think that the Super Jennie is softer than the EvaCup, but they might actually be quite close. So pressure on the base. You're seeing the Eva is a bit firmer there. The pressure just on the rim. There, the Eva is again a little bit firmer. Yeah, I mean the Eva feels firmer just I think because the silicone is a little bit thicker, but almost a negligible difference really. Although I will say my experience with these cups is very different. I did a review of the EvaCup, and although they kind of look similar on, just from a glance, I get a lot more wear out of the Super Jennie than out of the EvaCup because of where my cervix is. So I guess, but comfort wise, I would say they're the same. I like using the EvaCup. I just can't get much capacity out of it. Okay, so next to the EvaCup, I have the Fleurcup Large, which is a relatively soft cup. Actually, but I just did a quick placement here and the EvaCup read softer, but let's see if that's still true. If I misplaced my cup here. They almost look kind of identical in firmness. There's not that much depression on the Fleurcup side, but it's kind of pressing into the EvaCup a little bit. It's probably more due to the fact that the EvaCup is V-shaped and this is bell-shaped. If we look at the rims, I would say the rim is definitely firmer on the EvaCup just because of the design of the cup, but they're very close. So maybe if you like the EvaCup but you need more capacity, you could try the Fleurcup Large because it'll be similar firmness but with a little bit extra volume in the base. Next to the Fleurcup Large, I have the Lena Sensitive in the size large. I did a comparison of these two in my Lena Sensitive first impressions video. So again, I would say these two are actually really, really similar feeling. The main difference is that the Lena has this extra flare in the base, so that kind of makes it read firmer, but it's not really that much firmer. Like the Lena rim is softer than the Lena body, so that kind of makes that reading a little bit more confusing. But so the Lena sensitive is just a little bit firmer than the Fleurcup large. So going to the back row, I have the Lena sensitive and a size small. These two are a little bit hard to compare, but just kind of squeezing them in my hands, the small is definitely a little firmer than the sensitive. I don't know if I'll be able to get a good read in here, but let me try. So I'll kind of line the bases up there. And the large is reading firmer, but it's really not. Like, it's not that different. So just looking at the rims, the small rim is a little bit firmer than the large rim, which I think is a closer reading of kind of actuality. It's really hard to compare these when there's such different sizes. Next to the Lena sensitive small, I have the Lunette small. I should have included this in my comparison video when I did the Lena sensitive first impressions, but I don't use the cup often, so it just wasn't on my mind. The Lunette, I would say, is a nice medium softness cup. A little bit firmer at the secondary rim than at the base. Let's see here how they compare. Almost kind of identical readings, like they don't press on each other much in the base, but the Lena rim will be softer. So the Lunette, feels very close. I would still say, I think when I did the video I said that it was closest to the Ruby. I still feel like that overall. Even with all these cups in between, just in terms of usability, and because the size is most similar, but it's also really close to the small Lunette, to be honest. Okay, although I wouldn't say that, it's funny because I wouldn't say that the Lunette and the Ruby are close at all. They're not. Like the Lunette is much firmer than the Ruby, but it's really weird. I mean, it's so hard to compare these just because they different sizes and shapes and that kind of thing, but all three of these are close with just different reasons. So just to highlight these three cups, I would say Ruby is the softest, Lena sensitive, and then Lunette small, but they're all like close to the one right next to it. Okay, back to the the whole comparison. So next to the Lunette small is the Fleur small. So these I think are almost identical, if I remember correctly. Read in. Yeah, so you kind of, there's no real depression here. I guess the Lunette is reading a little bit firmer. I don't know how you look at it. To me, I'm going to just look a little closer here. Yeah, the Squish comparison is a little tough to do, but it definitely feels like the Fleur is firmer in my hand. And also, so for me, like, this might not be a great way to do, but I feel like the kind of best way to really compare the firmness of a cup is to put them into the same fold and see how you feel holding it. So for me, I feel like the Lunette was a little bit easier to fold and hold in the fold. That's not very scientific, but to me, that's my main concern with the firmness of a cup is, can I fold it easily? So next to the Fleurcup small is the small Sckoon. So I'm going to compare these two. The Sckoon is definitely going to be firm reading. So the base is kind of similar, but the rim is much softer on the Fleur side. The small Sckoon is a weirdly firm cup for its size, but that's mostly because oh my goodness, I forgot my large Sckoon. Ugh, sorry. I'm going to stick the large Sckoon into the lineup here. Let's see where that goes. I think the large Sckoon is pretty much the same as this Super Jennie is. Sorry, this is getting long and confusing. Apologies on that. It's a little bit firmer than the Super Jennie. Let's see here. Okay, so I'm going to put the large Sckoon here. Okay, and now I just pushed the Lena off screen. Okay, so next to the Sckoon are the two Lena smalls in the original Firmest. Again, slightly different size. The Sckoon is very small on the base. Very close in Firmest actually, seems like. But the Lunette person just a little bit more on the Sckoon. Last but not least, these two are the same, so I'm not going to compare them. The two Lena originals, sorry. But my Firmest cup by far is the large Lunette. So it's just overall, it's just foam everywhere. It's kind of hard to compare these because the shape is different and the size is different, but I'm going to try to line up the grip rings here. And it's just, the bell of the Lena is kind of posting the base in there, but I promise that the Lunette is much firmer. Compare the rims. It's really hard to compare them, but especially at the rim, like I can get the Lena folded very easily, but the Lunette takes a lot more work for me, and it's just, it's just really firm. So hopefully that was more helpful than confusing. So my menstrual cup stash ranks softest to firmest. EvaCup small, Super Jennie small, Sckoon large, EvaCup small, Fleurcup large, Lena sensitive large, Lena sensitive small, Lunette small, Fleurcup small, Sckoon cup small, small Lena, and then large Lunette. Hope that was helpful. Please let me know if you want to see any of them compared one-on-one, and thanks for watching. Bye.